At night I can't sleep, I toss and turn. Candlesticks in the dark, visions of bodies being burned. Four walls closing in, getting bigger. I'm paranoid, sleeping with my finger on the trigger. My mother's always stressing I ain't living right, but I ain't going out without a fight. See, every time my eyes close, I start sweating and blood starts coming.
Welcome to the downtown studios of Cranford, New Jersey. You are here at the Commissioner's Cove. Alongside of me is my man, my Ace Boku 13th Legion, and I am the Commissioner, Ricky Let Me Down, where we come together and bring our fantasy information, fantasy insight, so you guys don't have to. So do me a favor, sit back, relax, drink your little cafecito, smoke your little cigar, drink your little bourbon or your whiskey while you're listening to two distinguished gentlemen talk about fantasy football, which we enjoy to do. All right, week number 8. This is it. More than the halfway point, and it got a lot ugly for a lot of teams. The fantasy gods, this is not a good year. This year is ruthless. The fantasy gods don't care. They don't care about your team. They care about certain other teams, but they don't care about a lot about other owners. All right.
I guess it depends on where you sit.
A lot of injuries, a lot of stud injuries, and people are just going to have to make do off the waiver wire, and that's what we're here to talk about. All right.
And what makes it worse is that this week is Bye-Mageddon, I think.
Yeah, it's Bye-Mageddon. This might be your time to
I think 6 teams are on a bye.
Gain a little traction on your teams. Hopefully, maybe if you need that win, get a little closer to the playoff push. And then anything could happen. All right, just got to be in it to win it. All right, let's talk about these games. All right, week number 8. Let's talk about game number 1. Vikings at the Chargers. Thursday night game in the Dome. LA came out. Herbert looked good. It looks like when he's a little down, he starts airing it out, which you should be doing from the get-go. Okay, the run game is not that great. Vidal ran against Miami when he exploded, so people thought they were going to get the more productivity the same way. I doubt it. Anyone runs on Miami. So, in my opinion, against the Vikings, Vidal, again, running backs are a little tough position. I don't think he's...
Well, there was a little bit of fool's gold with Kamani Vidal against Miami's defense.
Terrible.
But against the next two, against the Colts and against the Vikings, I think it's going to be more of the same. I think he's not going to find much traction over there.
No. I'm saying is, if you do start him, you better super temper your expectations with him, but I don't think he's a must start. Keenan Allen, they're saying that he took over again the wide receiver 1 role. He gets a lot of targets over there. He's a must start. McConkey's a must start. And you know what? Quentin Johnson came back down to earth a little bit. He came back to the way he used to be. He missed a couple of ball drops. There you go. So I think if your window to sell him high was it kind of closed down. Even if he has a game, people are not going to give you that premium pay for him anymore. I think the other 2 wide receivers are the it. However, Mr. Tight end Arondé Gatson, this was his breakout game, and you know Herbert's always loved to use his tight end. So I think Gatson against the Vikings defense is a little tough, but I think he is a must start out there now. It seems as though he's taken over the number 1 tight end role. It looks like he is their future, and I think he's going to get a lot of passes out the backfield. He's going to get a lot of passes from this offense.
Is he going to have another game like he did this past week? Probably not. Right. But yes, he's a big part of their offense right now, and he's another big body that Herbert's going to throw to.
Yeah, big bodies. That's what they like. All right.
Minnesota. Well, I don't think Aaron Jones is coming back this week, is he? And if he is, he's still starting Mason.
Yeah, Mason hasn't looked that great as of late. You know, he is a must start.
But he's going against a defense that led Jonathan Taylor. I don't know, it's Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Come on. Jonathan, he'll run over anyone.
But I think Mason's a must start. Yeah. Especially this week. Whereas this being Bye-Mageddon, right? Kamani Vidal, I think, is a must flex start player.
Ugh.
As ugly as that is, it's just with 6 teams on the bye. I think Mason is definitely going to be a must start.
Okay.
Jefferson's a must start. I think Addison is a must start. He's definitely a wide receiver 3 or definitely a high end flex play this week.
Yeah, I do too. I think Addison's a must start. Hockenson is not a must start in my opinion. I don't think you start Hockenson. He's been featured on a lot of teams' benches lately. He really has.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? He did come to life a little bit. You know, hurt. What's his name? Carson Wentz was passing the ball to him, so I don't know if he's going to light it up for you. But again, if you need some streamer out there, you might not have much of a choice.
All right, I'm saying sit him. He's saying stream him. You guys choose and see what you like on your team. Carson Wentz. Are we starting? I mean, a lot of quarterbacks have been hurt lately. You know, it's some teams love to hold 2 or 3 quarterbacks on their team. I mean, Carson Wentz is all you have, or he might be on the waiver wire. We'll see. Listen, he's a streaming quarterback. You know, he might give you 240 with 2 touchdowns and maybe a pick. You'll take that right now if you have nobody else. Okay. Next game. Oof. Miami at Atlanta.
You said you were gonna do this podcast without emotions. And here we go. Your first opportunity to prove that right.
My Miami Dolphins. They are horrendous. Who are you starting? You are sitting Tua against Atlanta. Achane is the only guy to start. Waddle, okay, if you want to throw Waddle out there again and you want to get burned again, then that's on you guys. I'm saying you sit Waddle. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, they're going to be down. They're going to throw him the ball. Listen, it's been 2 or 3 weeks. I know last week was a bad week on the rain, the wind. I understand that. But Waddle, they're just not clicking. They're just not clicking. I'm saying you sit and Waddle this week.
So you're trying to say that this might be an ugly game again?
It's going to be disgusting.
Does McDaniel get fired then if this is an ugly game?
I was hoping he got fired last week, but he might get fired this week. And Waller's going to be out, so there's no tight ends to start. You're not starting Malik Washington, in my opinion. You're not starting him. You're not starting Cedric Wilson. You're not starting Nick Nacine. You're not starting him as well. All right, now that's all I got to say about the Dolphins. I don't want to get too emotional. Otherwise, I'm going to start losing my. The Falcons. Bijan Robinson is going to run all day.
Last week we said Judkins was going to run all day. We were right.
Bijan is going to run all day.
I think the theme here is whoever plays the Dolphins is going to run all day.
That's right. Look what Kamani Rydell did against Miami. You're going to run him. He's going to run all day. Obviously, he's a must-start. He's going to eat. He might be your week winner. All right, he's going to be your week winner.
Well, if it's a blowout, I could see Tyler Algier getting mop-up duties in the second half.
I could, but Bijan's he's going to eat. Drake London. He didn't get featured much last week, but I think this is the week he does get a little bit more love out there. However, we have to realize that Michael Penix has a foot injury, so we're going to have to monitor that and see if he does play. If he doesn't play, good old trusty veteran
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is going to come on in.
I think Penix is going to play. It's really early in the week. Yeah. Drake London did get 10 targets. He just didn't make the most of it. Yeah. For a banged-up San Fran defense, they did pretty well. I think you're starting Bijan. I think you start Drake London.
And Kyle Pitts, you started.
And you starting Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
those are the must starts. If you're looking for a little flex appeal, Darnell Mooney, and listen, low end flex. If you got no one else out there, you want to take a chance, you throw Algier in there.
I agree. All right, let's move on. I got nothing else to talk about my Dolphins. The Jets.
Yeah, the Dolphins of New York
versus Cincinnati Bengals. 50% chance of rain. Please check the rain forecast over there. Cincinnati. Wow. Smoking Joe. Smoking Joe always makes an appearance. You know, he always makes an appearance. Now, the Jets defense is pretty good. They're not that bad. The problem with the Jets defense is they get tired throughout the whole course of the game. And what does that mean? When they get tired, they give up a lot of plays. So this right here, Chase and Higgins are going to eat against the New York Jets.
Well, let's see if Sauce Gardner plays.
I doubt it.
And if he doesn't, I don't think this is going to be as difficult as you think for the Bengals. They're on the road in Cincinnati. They're 0-6. I don't know if they have playing a tough game last week. I don't know. You're almost looking for a letdown. How much can they do?
With who? Cincinnati? They're going to have a letdown?
Yeah. I mean, you said that the Jets defense has been carrying them basically. They've been showing up every day, right? Now they're on the road. They're 0-6. It's got to be a little defeating to go out there every day, and then now you don't have your best cornerback on your team. Do you think that they still play with the same intensity?
They always play with the same intensity. The problem is, I think they just get too tired. Listen, Chase is going to eat. Higgins is going to eat. And even smoking Joe Flacco, I'm saying he's a must-start this week against the New York Jets. I really do. Chase Brown, I mean, you start him.
I don't think he's going to get 100 yards on the ground.
No. I don't think so either. But he's a flex option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree. All right. The New York Jets.
So T also, did you say?
Who?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, I
Yes.
did. Yes. On the Jets side of the ball, I think Tyrod Taylor starts this game. I think they're done with Justin Fields. So he's a still sneaky quarterback if he does start, okay? Streaming quarterback. He's a little long in the tooth. However, he's a savvy veteran. He might get you some rushing yards. The wide receiver position with the New York Jets.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I think that you might see at the last second Aaron Glenn saying, we're going to give Justin Fields a start. Because if you don't have a running quarterback back there, what is Tyrod Taylor going to give you? You have no Garrett Wilson. Alan Lazard is going to be your wide receiver 1. That's not working. Arian Smith is a rookie. Who else?
I think Reynolds was at 1. And then
Mason Taylor?
Yeah. They don't throw the ball anyway. And then Breece Hall is, listen, against this game here,
Cincinnati's they're going to know where to go.
Exactly.
Just bottle up Breece.
Well, is Breece a flex option in this game here? This week
he's a low-end RB2, in my opinion.
Yeah, really low. Might be a flex, but just temper expectations with Breece Hall because he can't do it all. He's not McCaffrey out there. All right, next game on the docket here. Oh, this is a good game, matchup-wise. Cleveland at New England. It's going to be partly cloudy, 50 degrees, pretty good weather. Cleveland's defense is playing hot. New England's offense is playing hot. So this is going to be a good little matchup here. Drake May is, against Cleveland's pass rush. We'll see what he's made of this week against Cleveland. But you're going to start him. He is a must start. What wide receiver with New England are you looking at right here?
I think you're going to have to go with Booty and Diggs as a must start. Mm-hmm. Pop Douglas hasn't really done much on a consistent basis. And I don't know where their tight ends have been. I mean, I know Hooper got a pass in the end zone last week, but I think that Drake May is feeling confident enough to pass the ball downfield, and he doesn't need to drop it off. And then when he does drop it off, to everyone's surprise, it's not Trey Henderson. It's still Ramadre getting 18 of the 20 snaps. So who knows? There's a rumor they're going to be in free agency looking for another running back. So that's only going to even further muddy the waters.
Well, I think you said Travion Henderson. Ramadre is the one to start back there.
But temper expectations. Because Cleveland's defense is pretty good.
That's right. And on the Cleveland side of the ball, Jerry Jeudy is not doing that well. Neither is Isaiah Bond. The wide receivers aren't well. I think the one to start here will be, again, Harold Fannin, the rookie. And Dylan Gabriel, you're not starting at all. But Quishon Judkins. Man.
Yes, it's going to be a tougher go for him than last week, but you know what? You still start him up.
Yeah, of course you do. That guy is a must start. All right. Let's move on to the next game. The Giants at Philly. Is this a revenge game for Philly? I mean, you guys did them dirty in the Meadowlands. Now you're going to Philly. Slight chance of rain, 52 degrees. I think it doesn't rain, but if it does, listen, this is going to be a run game. You want to talk about your New York Football Giants here? What are we doing?
They have a lot of promise, but there's definitely things that need to be fixed. Their defense, you could just see they gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter against Denver in the game that they were basically. And I remember sitting here saying I'm predicting a Giant win, and I was so close to coming on here today and saying, yeah, I was right.
But you were
wrong. They almost took them into the back of the woodshed like they did with the Eagles. But listen. Shane Bowen's defense is too laid back, and when you have that many athletic pieces to their defense, you have to use them. Where were any of the blitzes? So again, they went out and they surprised Philly in New York a few weeks ago. Philly's not going to be surprised this week.
Oh no, they will not. I think just to get back 1 second with the Giants, I think there's going to be some sort of letdown here coming from Denver. Knowing that they had that game and they lost, it's going to be very hard for them to get back up again and saying, let's do the same thing we did to Philly 2 weeks ago when it was just 2 weeks ago. Philly knows what they're going to do. Oh, yeah. I think Philly's going to be ready. I think Hurts is the must-start here. I think who's going to eat the 2 wide receivers this time. They're not going to play this game with Saquon up the middle.
Right.
They're going to air it out this week. Yeah. They are. They're going to put it. I believe that they're going to strike hard. They're going to strike fast, and they're going to try to move the ball down the field. That's 100%, what I feel.
Because look what Bo Nix did. There were passes downfield. I'm like, how are these guys wide open?
Yep.
So if there's a weakness, it's going to be the Giants secondary, and they're going to exploit.
They're going to exploit. What about the tight end, Dallas Goedert? Must start.
I always say start a tight end against the Giants, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my mind
that's fair.
at this point.
Yep. All right. Next game on the docket here is Buffalo at Carolina.
Did we get into starting any Giant?
Well, Scatterboo, Dart,
Scatterboo, Dart,
Theo
Rondell,
and Theo Johnson.
and Theo Johnson.
And Theo Johnson. That's who you start.
Yeah,
I do.
those four.
Those four are the ones that you start with the New York Giants. Everyone else, Slayton, if he comes back, you don't start him. You're not starting Bo Collins. You're not starting Little
Jordan Monfrey.
Mumphrey.
Little Mo Mozzarella.
Whatever. All right, Buffalo at the Carolina Panthers. All right, slight chance of rain, 65 degrees. Carolina lost their quarterback, Bryce Young. Let me tell you, the Red Rockets back. And you know what that means? Red Rockets going to...
Yeah, it means Buffalo's going to dominate.
Well, they are, but at the same time, fantasy-wise, I think he's going to feed Tedero McMillan. All right, because the Red Rocket features one receiver. He featured...
He featured Leggett.
Yeah, well, he's going to feature... I believe he's going to go after Tedero McMillan a lot. He's going to use maybe both of them. So you do start Leggett and Mr. Tedero McMillan. Temporary expectation on Coker if you want to start him. The running backs against Buffalo's defense. Listen, they started Hubbard. I think Hubbard still gets the start, but they're going to split. It's a split backfield. They're not just going to leave Rico Dodell back there, not let him run the ball. All right, so the goal line, I believe, is still Hubbard. So you're going to have to choose your pick your poison.
Well, Buffalo's coming off of a bye, and they did not look good before they went on the bye. I'm sure they worked it up, and I'm sure part of their what they were talking about is their defense. So this is going to be the first chance to see if they put their things together. So
All right, we'll see about that. Let's talk about the Buffalo. I think Josh Allen eats this week. All right, the MVP of last year. I think he comes back with vengeance. He hates to lose. They're not really playing up to par, up to Buffalo's football, how they feel as though they should be playing. I think this is Josh Allen's game. He's a obviously close your eyes, put him in the lineup, and just forget about him. Khalil Shakir, any wide receivers, I think he's probably maybe the only one to start.
he'll be the number one guy to
Yep.
definitely start. Keon Coleman, if you're in bad need of a flex play.
He's a streamer right there. But if you want to go out there,
Well, yeah, but this is Armageddon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're throwing him out there as a flex.
don't expect
Cook
too much. Cook, yeah, you start
and Kincaid.
And Kincaid, those are the guys that are must start. I think they're gonna eat. I think they're gonna do well. When I think about the Carolina Panthers, I don't think of a big pass rush. I just don't, linebackers wise as well. I don't see it. I think Allen's gonna have the monster game this week. All right, next game, the Bears versus the Ravens.
Bears on a 4-game win streak.
Yeah, and they're playing in Baltimore. All right.
Playing in Baltimore against a team who just came off of a bye, and maybe Lamar's going to play. I know he didn't have to practice on Monday, but
I don't know. If he plays. If he plays, Lamar is a must start. But if he doesn't play, no quarterback is a must start over there. What are we doing with King Henry? I mean, Chicago's defense is not that great passing one. I mean, can they really stop King Henry in this game without the threat?
without Lamar,
No.
you downgrade everybody on the
Yeah.
Baltimore's, just like it was 2 weeks ago. I know people forget because it seems 2 weeks ago was such a long time, but everyone took a hit. Bateman is non-existent, and Zay Flowers is hard to trust. And if you're number one,
No. Zay Flowers?
Zay Flowers is hard to trust without Lamar.
I think he's hard to trust with Lamar.
No.
I've been saying that for
You know what, man?
2
You're
years.
the same guy that said Bo Nix is the worst. You know what? I got to temper expectations on your analogies.
Well, he didn't do nothing for 4 quarters, and then your Giants allowed him to score, 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter? Come on.
He ran for 2.
Yeah, he ran for 2. Your Giant defense allowed him to run.
That's right.
You made him look like a superstar.
He was in that game.
In that game.
That's right.
Because your defense was
Some people
horrible.
lost in fantasy football because of Bo Nix.
Yeah, I did. Thanks. I did.
All right, so let's get back to talking about it.
Temporary expectations with Believer, and not with King Henry without Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely, that's what I just said.
Yep.
You gotta downgrade everybody if Lamar's
You
not
temporary
playing.
expectations with the whole team without Lamar.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
And their defense hasn't actually been doing anything.
No way. Now,
So-
let's talk about the Chicago Bears. The Bears. All right.
That being said, because Baltimore's defense hasn't been doing anything, and because the Bears' offense has been running the ball a lot, I think you're going to say. I know you're going to say this. You're going to have to fire up Kyle Monungai and DeAndre Swift.
You got to fire him up. You got to put him out there. I think this is it. I think again they're looking at around. You always say it's a copycat league, so they're looking around the league. Everyone's splitting carries. 12 carries here, 12 carries.
It's a copycat league, but you're talking about the guy who did the offense for Detroit, now the head coach of Chicago. Wow. Of course they're going to try to do it.
So what I think is you fire both the running backs up. Listen, Cole Kmet is injured. I'm still. What are we doing with Loveland? This is his time. Without Kmet on the field, this is his time. Are we putting him out there, or is it still a wait and see?
If you have no one else on your team, you better throw him out there with a hope and a prayer.
Yeah.
But if you have another choice, I don't. Listen. Even though this is Bimageddon, I still don't trust him out there.
I agree.
Is he going to get the ball? Is Burden? Rome, who disappeared 2 weeks in a row now?
Yeah, it's been 2 years. What are they? They're not phasing him. 2 weeks in a row now. They're not phasing him out. And then DJ Moore got a little love last week, so I think he's a start as well.
He was getting love 2 weeks ago when he left that game, with the injury.
Yeah.
So, listen, it's working for them. They won 4 in a row. They're not going to change.
No.
Even though fantasy people like us who want our players to do well fantasy-wise, we're just not going to get that this year.
No. So you temper expectations with the wide receivers, the ones that it's going to be a given is the two running backs.
Definitely.
And Caleb. You start Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he gives you those rushing. He might give you a rushing touchdown, and he likes to air the ball out. All right. Next game, San Fran at Houston. Man, Houston looked terrible last night.
Yes.
Horrible.
But I knew this was going to happen because Seattle's defense looked great against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago, and now they're playing at home. I just that's all they were. If you take a look at the game, that's all they were talking about was how well Seattle's defense was playing.
Well, they had their little eye on the scoreboard to see if the Seattle Mariners were going to make the World Series. They didn't, so they took it out on the team that they played last night. That's what they did, which was the Houston Texans.
And
they took them to the woodshed, like you said. Smacked them around.
Yeah, so now they're going against a banged up San Fran's defense.
San Fran's defense looked good.
And even though they were banged up, they still look good.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing how many injuries that team has, and they still
And what's worse now is that they possibly could not have Nico Collins, their stud wide receiver, terrible. Not being on the field. And if that's the case,
no, you fire him up.
What you got is the fourth quarter of last night's game, which is Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson, and Woody Marks. That's what you got on Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz had 9 targets. Yes, he did. He did well. I think Schultz is a must start against San Francisco now with Nico Collins being out of the game. Listen, I've been saying it for, 7 weeks now. I mean, what are we doing with Nick Chubb? Let the kid play. We know what we have. You know what you have. Let the kid play. And I think, you know what? I think Higgins is going to do well this game. I really do. I think he's not going to have Nico Collins' numbers, but I think he's going to have some decent numbers if you're hurting at the wide receiver position.
If you want to take a chance, I think Jalen Noel looked better in the underneath, only because it didn't, Stroud didn't have time to pass the ball. And he did maneuver within the pocket good enough, and maybe that's where Jalen Noel's going to have a little bit of advantage because he can separate in the middle of the field.
But I've noticed a lot of teams don't throw it in the middle of the field. A lot of teams are always to the outside. They're afraid to throw it to the middle of the field. They just are.
Well, we'll see. But
you're sitting CJ
Stroud. Things look desperate for Houston, so I think if you can avoid, don't start Stroud.
No, don't start him.
But if you're looking for a streaming option, like you said, maybe Higgins. But I think it's going to be Noel and Woody Marks and Dalton Schultz.
All right, San Fran. Dude, I don't know if Brock Purdy comes back this week, but they're doing well with Matt Jones. The only problem is George Kittle, 0 catches. He had 1 target. I understand he's coming back from a hamstring injury. If that was the case, we all saw the game. They will utilize him to make holes for Christian McCaffrey,
and it worked.
Hey, I know it worked. So I can't sit here and say, oh, he was on a snap count. No, he wasn't, because he was open. He was blocking for Christian McCaffrey. So this game here, Matt Jones, Houston's defense is pretty good.
Yes, that's what I was going to talk about. Yeah,
they are good. So you get temper expectation with Matthew Jones. Wide receiver wise, man, he started throwing the ball to Jennings. What happened to Bourne? It's like he features one guy, or maybe the game plan, they figure that they're going to double team Bourne, they're going to go to Jennings. Obviously, who you got to know about with San Fran? Christian McCaffrey. He gets everything. in that offense, and you can't stop it. Can't.
So this is going to be a little bit more of a test.
Who we starting here at the wide receiver position with the 49ers? I'm going to sit here and say now.
I think you have a coin?
I'm thinking you're going to have to start, if healthy, Jawan Jennings. I think Bourne takes a hit. I think his status, he might come down more. And he's not a must start anymore with Jennings in the game. If Jennings doesn't play, Bourne is a must start.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
What are we doing with George Kittle?
I think in the end, I think you have to throw him out there.
I think this is a.
But I think in the end, the only guy he definitely must start him and forget him is McCaffrey.
Yeah, me too. You just leave him out there and just.
And I don't even think that Houston's defense is gonna. I mean, if you want to say temper expectations, what's tempering expectations with McCaffrey? 20 points?
No, yeah, the guy's a stud. He's a guy. Just close your eyes. Put him in and go to sleep.
I understand this game's on the road in Houston, but I don't think San Fran's. I think,
No. I think they're going to do well. That's what I think. Those are the wide receivers. And George Kittle, I think this is George Kittle's I think this is the game where he breaks out this week, okay, against Houston. I think they're going to feature him.
Write it down.
Write it down. I feel as though that's what's going to happen. All right, next game is Tampa Bay at the Saints. Okay, it's in a dome, 75 degrees. I wasn't talking about the weather over there because it was a dome in Houston, and we talked about Baltimore. So this one here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Saints. Oh, man, that's a shame. Mike Evans comes back, breaks his collarbone. I mean, listen, with that type of injury, his age, is this it for Mike Evans? You think he comes back next year again?
I don't know. It's too early to be talking about next year. We're talking about who we need to start. I don't even want to speculate. Who knows what Tampa Bay will do. To a guy who's been their franchise wide receiver for a decade. So
yeah, but that's a tough injury to come back from. He's not gonna. I don't think he comes back. He
might not come back this year. Yeah, even if Tampa makes the playoffs, it's gonna be very hard for him to come back at the end. But hey, that's what they were saying, that there is hope that he could come back before the end of the year.
Well, that's good for Abuka owners. So Abuka is a must start here, as well as, you know what? Listen, he got a lot of volume yesterday. Sterling Shepard. Wow.
Sterling Shepard is the guy that is the safe guy, right? I think the guy that Tez is the guy. I think that Tez Johnson. I think is a worthwhile waiver wire pickup and a start.
Yeah, so do I. I do. He would have had 2 touchdowns yesterday, but Baker overthrew him.
Yes.
Okay.
He did throw. He was overthrowing high yesterday or the other day when they were playing Detroit. But I could see him utilizing Tez. He's got that speed.
He's got the speed. Speed kills. And Rachaad White, you throw out there against the Saints defense. And I'm not sure with Bucky Irvin. I think maybe a couple more weeks.
They have a bye. Mm-hmm. I think after this week, I think he's not coming back at the soonest after that bye.
I agree. And Baker Mayfield is a must start. He didn't look MVPs last night. I apologize. He didn't look so MVPs last night. However, he is a must start against New Orleans Saints. Now with the Saints offense, Olave's been balling. All right, he has been. He's gotten the target. He finally broke out for 98 yards and then 100-something and 2 touchdowns. Does he maintain this pace with this team?
I think Spencer Rattler found his guy.
He should have found him week 1. That's my opinion. But
he was getting his feet wet.
Yeah. Olave's a must start. Oh, and Mr. Miller, Kendra Miller, he can't stay healthy.
No, with all the...
Yeah.
All the promise in the world.
Can't stay healthy whatsoever. No. I think Devin Neal is going to be activated from the practice squad. He's going to be backing up Kamara. And, listen,
I really don't think he's going to get a lot of run.
I think
you're still going to see Taysom Hill.
Yep. You're going to have Taysom Hill in the backfield. That's what I was going to say. Taysom Hill is a sneaky little start back there. Rashid Shaheed really hasn't been getting a lot of – he still gets some good targets, but he's not connecting. I think Olave pretty much is the one that he's been connecting with. And Jawan Jennings, his stock has dropped immensely. Jawan Johnson's the one. Stock has dropped immensely. Agree?
Agree.
All right. That's all we have for the Saints and the Buccaneers. Oh, I do apologize. The Buccaneers with no Mike Evans, with no Godwin. Let's not forget about Cade Otton. He got a lot of love last night. I know they were behind, but you know what? He does feel comfortable with him. He knows him. So I do think that Cade Otton is a must start this week, in my opinion, with the tight end position. All right. Next game is Dallas and the Broncos in Denver.
Should be a very interesting game.
Yeah, listen, Dallas's offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. They're looking good. They're feeling good. You know what I mean? America's team. If you know what Deion says, if you look good, you play good. If you play good, you get paid good. That's what he says. It ain't not me, but Dallas is checking off all those boxes right now. However,
well, the Dallas's offense is not the Giant offense. There's definitely more weapons there, and they can spread the ball out. So Denver doesn't. It's not like the Giants had no wide receivers, and Dallas has got two pretty good wide receivers.
Yeah, and a tight end.
And a tight end.
And the running back was doing that well, yeah.
Yes, it's going to be a little tougher game for Denver.
Yeah, so even though Denver's defense is doing well, we saw what the Giants did to the Denver Broncos defense. You know what? I am firing up Pickens, I'm firing up CD and Ferguson and the running back and Dak Prescott. You're starting all the skill position players.
Yeah, everyone that we just mentioned,
you're starting. And the Denver Broncos.
You're starting Bo Nix. You're starting Dobbins.
What are we doing with the wide receivers, though? Like, it's almost what you said every week, whack-a-mole. Who are they throwing it to? Who's their number one?
It's still Courtland Sutton. Yeah. Because until Pat Bryant or Troy Franklin could be more consistent, it's Courtland Sutton.
Well, you'll be more consistent if you throw the ball to them. But
be more consistent if they catch the ball, because I saw Pat Bryant let one go between his fingers.
Oh.
So, that's a lot to do with it, especially when it comes to a rookie. You're going to have confidence in him, right? This is the same issue that happened last year with Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin started the year with a couple of dropsies, and he was relegated to the afterthought, right?
Well, so basically all we're doing is starting over here, Mr. Sutton.
And Evan Ingram, I think you're starting. If you need a flex play, I think Troy Franklin's the guy, but not Pat Bryant this week.
No Pat Bryant
and Dobbins.
And Dobbins. And you sit in
and
RJ
still
Harvey.
RJ Harvey.
You still sit in RJ Harvey. You're not trusting him at all if you need wins. You're not putting him out there. If you do, you probably get 6 points from him or 5.
There are a lot of disappointing early season drafts.
Yeah.
With some people. RJ Harvey being one, Trey Henderson being another, Caleb Johnson being another.
Colston Loveland being another.
Colston Loveland, yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Next game is Tennessee.
Luther Burden.
No.
Stop. Matt Golden.
Tennessee at the Indianapolis Colts. Wow. This one is in Indianapolis. This is going to be ugly. Jonathan Taylor is going to run all over Tennessee's defense. He might have 5 touchdowns this game. He is a super must start. Danny Nichols, as I call him, because I'm never going to give him his props. Danny Nichols, even though he's doing well.
There's another guy you thought was crap.
We all thought he was crap.
No, not everyone.
We all thought he was crap. He's against Tennessee, he's a must start. Michael Pittman is a must start. Tyler Warren is definitely a must start. However, I did hear something. They did say that Tyler Warren gets featured in the first 2 quarters, and in the third and fourth disappears.
It's true.
It's because they're up by so much, they're not using them.
No, they don't have to.
So basically, you need another team to be maybe up, okay, so they can use Tyler Warren. They don't need to use him.
They haven't faced the offensive opposition where they have to come back in the game.
Right.
So
he disappears. He gets his points in the first 2 quarters.
Yeah.
If you do have him on your team,
it is so true.
And you're watching him, he's not going to get another pass in the third and fourth if they're up.
And even though the Colts do have backups, running backs, to give Taylor a rest, they don't use him.
No, they won't.
They just let Taylor just run every play.
Well, that's what you like in the fantasy if you got him on your fantasy team.
Listen, I said before, there's a handful of guys that you throw out there every day, and you wish every NFL team had one guy you throw out there like Jonathan Taylor, but it's not like that.
No, well, they have a good line. All right, so Mr. Josh Downs, I think he's a nice little start as well. And like you always said, Mr. Pierce, he's been utilizing him some more.
I think Alec Pierce more so than Downs.
I think Alec Pierce is starting to make his way to his 3rd year in the league, correct?
Yes, and he's. I think there were trade rumors around him too.
So we'll see what happens. I think as a streamer out there, if you have nobody else, and if the waiver wire is really, really thin, or if you're decimated by injuries. And at the Tennessee side of the ball, we're not going to talk about anybody. We're just going to move on. Well, who we starting in Tennessee? Are we, Alec Ayamore? I looked at
Shamiri DK.
I looked at their stats. They got 4 targets each.
Yes.
This is horrible.
DK just had that long one for the touchdown. That's it. That was the only difference.
It's horrible. I mean, and let me tell you, Cam Ward threw the ball 35 times. I think it was 35 times. 30-something passes.
To who?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Because even Tyjae Spears, who was supposed to be the passing down back, didn't get any work.
No. Tony Pollard, you better temper expectations against this game. If you need to start him, I'm saying you're going to sit him against Indianapolis.
I think you might have some defensive players if you're playing in IDP leagues. There might be some defensive players on Colts defense. They get more points than some offensive players on Tennessee.
I agree. This is going to be an ugly game. You sit Cam Ward because you better chalk this up. Cam Ward is another one that a rookie draft that he just disappointed big time. All right.
And for as much as you and I sat here and we said, oh, we're going to have to air him out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. They did throw the ball 35 times, but it wasn't effective.
It wasn't effective at all. It wasn't effective. Listen, it was so bad that Tyler Lockett asked for his release and they let him go.
That's right.
Watch him sign with the Las Vegas Raiders. Watch this guy sign with the Raiders. Watch Pete Carroll say we're going to take him on the Raiders. It's going to be, listen, thank God are they off this week? Yes, they are. Thank God they're off this week. They're awful, too. All right, next game is Pittsburgh at the Steelers. Oh, wow. This is a good game right here. Slight chance of rain.
It would be a good game for Pittsburgh to be at the Steelers.
I'm sorry. Packers at the Steelers. I apologize. Packers at the Steelers. Packers are coming to Pittsburgh facing Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Packers got a good defense, good pass rush. Aaron Rodgers likes to get the ball out. I think the one is a must start. Is Warren's going to eat a lot this game with the short little intermediate passes. He threw the ball. He finally utilized his tight ends last week. I don't know if he continues that. However, if you're going to follow the trend, you're going to start the tight ends in this game against Green Bay. But Green Bay has fantastic linebackers. They can cover.
They do have good linebackers. If we're going to talk about Pittsburgh, I think you start Jaylen Warren.
Yes.
I still think you start Aaron Rodgers, being this Armageddon week. Freiermuth or John New?
Temper?
Listen, is Freiermuth going to have another game like that? I'm sure it builds a lot of confidence between the chemistry between Aaron and Freiermuth. So, yeah, I think Freiermuth's going to have a good game this week.
All right. That's fair. Okay. DK Metcalf. What are we doing with DK?
I think you have to start him because he's one of your number one receivers or your number two. You have to start him. There's no one else that they throw the ball downfield to. So
Calvin Austin is going to be activated. I think he's going to be coming back soon. Just saw something today and read that he's going to be practicing. So we'll see what happens there. They don't throw their second wide receiver anyway. They just don't utilize.
No, their second wide receiver is one of their tight ends.
It's just terrible. It's I think they're in.
That's why I think Freiermuth is going to have is in line to have a pretty good game.
I think they're in the market for another wide receiver, but even if they send another wide receiver to Pittsburgh, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers throws him the ball. I just don't think so.
Well, listen, even if they get one before the game, I don't know how effective he's going to be in a couple days.
No. All right, and the Packers side of the ball, listen, Josh Jacobs, I think still nursing that calf injury, but he did play, and I think he got 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs is a must start against Pittsburgh's defense is pretty good.
That calf injury. Last week we said start him up, don't worry. But that calf injury came out of, I believe he got that on the Friday of the last practice day of the week. So that's why it was late coming in. But again, always check your injury report before the game. But yeah, I think you can still start him up.
Yep, and the wide receiver, listen, I think his number one is Romeo Doubs. It's not Matthew Golden yet. And Tucker Kraft, you're starting here. Those are the.
I don't think you're ever going to get a number one wide receiver.
But he throws the ball Romeo Doubs a lot. I think he looks for him the most.
Listen, Golden got 4 passes, four targets, four completions, 4 receptions, and he looked good doing it. So he didn't drop the ball. He just needs more opportunity.
Yeah.
The problem is, who do you throw it to?
We say it every week. We don't know.
Tucker Kraft definitely you have to throw the ball to. Dobbs. Jacobs is going to get his.
Yep. And then Jordan Love. What type of numbers are we looking at Jordan Love against Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh's defense last week looked horrible. So I don't know. You might get Jordan Love with 260 and 2 touchdowns this week.
Yeah. All right. We'll see if that occurs. And usually when he's in the red zone, he hands it off to Mr. Jacobs anyway, so we'll see about that. But you do start him if you have him, okay? And unless you have another viable quarterback out there. All right, last game on the docket here is Washington at the Chiefs. Listen, the Chiefs are they're like a freight train right now. They got Rashee Rice, must start. You don't start Thornton. You don't start him.
Although he did. Listen, it's going to be, they're always going to have 1 or 2 guys like the Thorntons and the Jujus that are going to get 2 or 3 catches in the game.
I'm not starting Thornton.
But yes, consistent wise, you're looking for Kelsey, you're looking for Rice, you're looking for Worthy,
and Pacheco, believe it or not,
but we said that when
last
Rice
week
comes back, it's going to change the offensive look for the Chiefs.
I think Pacheco is going to get a little bit more running room, and he did get more running room last week. Hopefully, they keep utilizing him. I think Pacheco is a start here.
And what they're still doing is they're rotating guys out. Kareem Hunt's still in there. Brashard Smith is getting in there. I mean, yeah. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the main guy, but he's not getting 20 touches a game.
A lot of people don't get 20 touches a game anyway. And listen, they're talking about Baker Mayfield being MVP. I don't know, man. Pat Mahomes, he is balling this year. He might regain that MVP status again. He just might.
So far, it looks good for him, but
he is a must start against Washington. Now, let's talk about the Washington Commanders. Man, their wide receiver room is horrible.
They're going to have a tough time this week.
It's going to be ugly.
It's a Monday night game.
They have no Jaden Daniels not going to be playing. You're going to have Mariota's going to be playing that game. Bill, listen, they went away from the run game last week. They didn't feed Bill. They were down a lot, so they took him off the field, not to get him hurt. With Jonathan, I wish they did the same thing to Jonathan Taylor, but they won't. Bill's off the field. Casey's got a good defense. You're going to temper expectations with Bill, but obviously you're going to have to start him. Wide receiver-wise, you're not starting Luke McCaffrey. It's been 3 weeks now. What is he getting? 3 weeks? 5 targets in 3 weeks? They don't utilize him at all. What wide receiver? They'll throw the ball to Moore a couple of times, and
Casey's got a pretty good damn defense.
Yeah, they got a good defense.
It's going to be a very hard task for Washington to be competitive in this game.
Yep. I think
most you can do is hopefully, and this is it, is a blowout with KC, and you're looking for garbage time fantasy points.
Pretty much. Everyone on Washington, if you do have them, if you're looking, if you need a win, I maybe the only one to start right now without McLaurin.
And that might be McNichols.
It might be.
Because you're going to be down, you're going to be thrown to the back, backs out of the backfield for big little, chunk yards while KC's playing back to protecting their lead. I think that's what you're looking at in this game.
I agree.
Washington is going to have a tough time.
It's going to be an ugly game. And that's in KC, and the forecast hasn't come out to be determined, so please check the weather forecast in KC.
Yeah, why make it harder for the Redskins? For the Commanders.
We'll see. All right, that ends week number 8's our take on starters and sins. It sounds like we talk about obviously who we're going to start, who we're going to say the same way you guys do, but based on their defense, based on their matchups, who to temper expectations with, and who to start. Okay, because this year has not been it's not been good for a lot of people. It hasn't. It really hasn't. Made good for some. The injuries decimated your team. Injuries decimated my team from week 1. Again, I talked about it last week. If you are 1-5, 2-4, whatever you are, 0-6, whatever you are, 0-7, if you are, it's time to reevaluate your teams and start selling off your assets and regroup maybe picks for next year and your dynasty, sell out those old guys.
And speaking of selling, right? So for those of you out there who are listeners who are part of one of our leagues, veterans.
That's right, week 8.
You can start trading picks now.
Yeah, week number 8, you can start trading picks. All right, so if you're out of it, if you feel as though you're out of it, this is the time. You only have a short little window before the trade deadline. But that being said, good luck to you guys. Hopefully you like the podcast. I appreciate you guys listening every week. We have some loyal listeners. Like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being down here at the Cove. And thank you for coming out today. Good luck on your games, unless you're playing the co-commissioner or myself.
And by the way, I beat you again.
You beat me last week.
It's 2 leagues, 2 weeks.
It's horrible.
2 losses.
You guys be safe. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.